Hi everyone. Today we're talking about toxic workplaces.
Toxic.
Yes, that the big elephant in the room in different organizations that makes people leave or makes people depressed for years, but they stay because they need pay. They need to pay the bills. Yes, that's the topic for today.
So I'm just going through my head and thinking, you have a lot to say here, I think.
Yes, I'm taking a step back. I'm not because this topic here, I'm the co-father. But let's even define because maybe I was the one that even had problems.
Maybe it was you.
Maybe it was me. But let's define what toxicity is.
So for me, it's an environment where I don't want to overdo it, but it's an environment where people are not. I don't use the word happy.
What does it now? Like
people lie, people throw everyone under the bus,
and nobody sees anything wrong with it.
It's that's one. Then another one where everyone says one thing but does another thing.
Okay.
And it's not just only the toxic environment, toxic people as well. That one I've seen plenty.
But we're still so let's define what toxic workplace is. And is it a place where people are not happy or a place where everybody's mad?
So the reason why
chaos is part of it.
The reason why I'm a little skeptical about using the word happy, because in this our world now, any small thing everybody will say, "Oh,
I'm not happy."
Mental health, this thing. But that's why I'm going to use the word happy, because sometimes it's not about
fulfilled.
It's still aligned with happy.
Okay, so let's not even say happy, but if you are working somewhere where you wake up in the morning and you are not happy to work,
depressed.
Yes, that's that.
Okay, let's leave it at that.
That's what now? We have not defined it.
Oh, you define it. Your English is very good.
Please stop it now. Anywhere you work where to go to work is problem. Or you're at work and you're just like it's like you're just putting out fires that are not necessarily work related, just personal, people not keeping to their word, the company not treating you well. So I feel like there's a whole lot of things that makes the
there's a lot. So it's not
there's
not
toxic people.
Yeah.
There's the company itself, how it treats staff. Then you can have a very bad boss. I think that's toxic. That's the chairman of.
Yeah, that's toxic people.
So that's what makes it all. That's the ecosystem of toxicity.
And sometimes the one that really gets to me, I won't lie, is when they will say package themselves. Oh, we're this hunky dory. Oh, we're happy people. We always say the truth. Say what you mean what you say. You understand? Candor. Then everybody, including the guys at the top, are doing something else.
So my friend has this thing that she says that if you're applying for a role and you see we are a high performing organization, it's a red flag. But on the surface, it sounds like a normal thing. High performing. We want people that perform.
What does that mean? What does high performing mean?
They perform high.
And how do they achieve that?
They are motivated. That's what I'm saying. Normally, there's nothing to suspect about it, but apparently it turns out that if you see it, run.
So in my mind now, to you, based on your experiences,
yes,
what made those environments toxic
for me?
For you?
In fact, oh my God, I worked somewhere that. So let me start. I've told you this story before, and you even know the person. Some organizations, first of all, they already have that toxic reputation that if you don't know, you don't know. It's people that will tell you. So I go, okay. So let's imagine that the name of this company is Lagos Consulting.
Mm-hmm.
So I started working in Lagos Consulting and I just posted it on LinkedIn that I've started working here. The first message I got from a friend was, I can't tell you. You went to work in Lagos Consulting. Can you imagine how I felt?
One chance. One chance.
No, this was first week. Oh. First week. Somebody said, and you know the person
That's why.
it was a bad feeling.
So already,
I was already
that defense bad guy, defense mode. What did I enter? What did I?
and that's the questioning the whole interview process. Why did you not spot it? She just went on and said, nobody goes there. Oh. That was strike one. Let me tell you, all this was within first month of resumption. Second week of resumption, we used to have management meeting. So there was like 2 buildings in one estate. So we used to have management meeting in building 1. So there were some people on my interview panel, CFO, see something. So I recognized them. And so I enter the building 1. The CFO just said, can I see you for a minute? I said, what's the problem? He said, that the place I'm coming from, how is the place like? I said, I don't understand.
When he was a new CFO.
No, he was a CFO where I just resumed. He was asking about the company. Yes, he was planning to take an offer there. I said, Desh, I'll think go. I think I was serious. I don't know. I think I said, why this was week 2? Week 2. I said, you know, I was almost like, help me for Christ's sake. What kind of nonsense is that? Why do you want to go? Me, I thought, I'm leaving, so I'm coming. Why do you want to go there? He said he has an offer there. You know, I said, what's wrong with this place? He just did like this. I said, they laugh. So I knew because it's not Nigerian. If it was in Nigeria now, he would have said, Baba, it was not Nigerian. He just laughed. The laugh was
so he's not Nigerian, but it was Nigerian company.
Yes. So when I now entered, no. So I had the bad line manager thing.
Mm-hmm.
I had the company itself was toxic, like toxic waste.
So put more context. Give me examples. What do you mean toxic?
So I have a friend, the guy laughs at me till today. So apparently they buy breakfast for us. So when
so that was nice. Man.
So when I go, because they want to take your soul, they'll give you breakfast. So when I go there, I told my guys, be in this place, you might go. I took pictures, see breakfast. Every day we need chop breakfast. After like 3 weeks, when I started complaining, I need chop breakfast again. Unfortunately, at that time, this slang of serving you breakfast had not even started because it would have been ideal. Like they started serving me breakfast. Bro, my guy will call me to, mind you, square pegs in round holes. So the person that I was reporting to as like the head of sales, 0 sales experience.
So how was
techie?
So how was he head of sales?
So you can imagine.
Friend of the friend or friend of the
friend of the founder.
Okay.
It was terrible. He would just be talking and I'll just be looked at for Christ's sake. Me that was coming from high sales environment, like your guy is inspiring you based on the track record. I was just looking at it. And this guy will be telling me, you don't know what you're talking about. Then you can be upset with somebody and say, do it this way, this thing you did. He just was used to verbal assault. Was it verbal insults or assaults? Mm-hmm. Just talk anyhow. I'll just be looking at this guy. You now leave that one. The MD2 will just send for you randomly. The same verbal assault. The death. In fact, it was so bad. It's like I've taken over.
So this particular episode is for you.
But you suffered it.
I have, in retrospect,
because of your face, you look like a bomb. So
I don't want to try rubbish with you. So I've been lucky, but there are pockets here and there. But you.
Let me even finish the story. So the end, will just call you, just say his own rubbish, talk down on you. All this, what really baffled me was that they came out with their toxicity very, very early.
So there was no honeymoon period.
You understand? There are some organizations where they hire a salesman. They'll be looking at it for 3 months, 3 to 6 months. They'll already be saying, this guy is a fafa. But after 6 months, they'll just start. This one, they are not even seeing anything. They are just saying, this guy will just call you one day. In fact, there was a meeting. I resumed with the head of marketing. I was the head of sales. The guy was head of marketing. This my boss was also his boss. We were in a meeting. He shouted down at him so much. He did not even know. He was presenting, you were asking questions, you didn't let him answer. And the guy was just shouting down at the head of the guy lost it all. He just started shouting back, who do you think you are?
The marketing guy.
Yeah. Who do you think you are? What was it? The guy didn't know what he said. Then leave me, I know for room, I go beat you. I go beat you. He was vibrating. Yeah, I was like, I mean, I can't do this one. All of us, I could tell all of us in that meeting, in our hearts, were like, yes, go do it, yes, continue. After I finished shouting, this guy was very friendly. Nobody, I didn't expect that he could ever get angry. He lost it. This guy just, when he finished shouting, his eye clear saying, well, I mean, clearly I've lost this job. He just took his laptop. Then another thing they used to watch on his brand new car, just took his laptop, went to HR, dropped the laptop, dropped their car key, and just took Uber, went home. Bruh, all of us in the room were just like, in different ways, this is going to be how
This is for
this is how
this is down the line.
Yeah, this was that line.
Down the line.
Man, then the MD will just come in. Everybody just like, hey, he has this Ojoye for the junior people. He just come, hey, Then you were like, but one day he now actually showed his hand. We're supposed to be having like a town hall. Somebody asked him a question he didn't like. Baba lost it. You also insulting the guy like, how dare you?
Well, this is a one-man business.
So I don't even know how to describe it. Startup here, startup. It was supposed to be, but they have investor and all of that.
One-man business, basically.
Let me now tell you the annoying part.
What?
This my boss that used to abuse me and talk anyhow. And in fact, there was a time he brought somebody for sales training. He said, so that you will learn how to sell. Everybody have to talk. Blah, 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 blah. When he brought the sales trainer, and the sales trainer just said, Shay, how you doing now? He said, Chief, I'm fine now. Long time, how have you been? He said, where do you know him from? He said, somebody I trained in 2009.
That's you trained him.
No, he trained me in 2009. In my, like the second place I worked. This was like 10 years apart. And the guy was not like, But because he was still a toxic person during the training, in front of my direct reports, he'll be saying, I hope you are listening, I hope you are listening to what he's saying. I'll just be like, see my life. See my life. You see, I hope you are listening to what he's saying. The day I went to tell this guy that I'm resigning, he just did like this. I didn't know him again. Where are you going now? What is this
Same guy?
Yeah. I believe he was bipolar. He said, what's going on now? No. You have so many good things in the pipeline. You're working on. I see the work. It was as if,
multiple personality.
It's like I should have been crying and beating him at the same time. Are you joking? I just I said, so you can. I said, what do you mean? That you see the work. Why you're asking me why am I going? I said, let's say his name was Ajasco. Because in my mind, that's what he was. I said, Ajasco, you're asking me this. Hey. Is it what you have done or what the MD has done? That's in fact, that's when I was sure that I was doing. I can't do this. That was now gaslighting 101. Pretending like, I left. I didn't have anywhere I was going.
You just dropped.
That's to tell.
So you had it up to here.
Because I don't want to sing dramatic, but what really now made me resign, it was the godfather of all verbal assaults that I received from the MD one day. The language is too bad to use here, but that's the language he used for me on a phone call while at a client's place. That one. So my own was like a version of the head of marketing. I just didn't shout. Because I said, one of the things that I always say is leave enough room to say your side. And you always want your side to be clean. If I start shouting now, they say, hey, why did you shout? In fact, I was in the car when he was yelling on speakerphone. my driver already knew that this was it. He could sense it.
Ooh.
So I just said,
Was it office driver or your
office driver? Office driver. I just said, you should take me to the office. We were supposed to go to like 2 more places. When they said, take me to the office, the guy started looking at me that, he said, take it easy. He said, take it easy. I said, no wahala. So as we got to the office, same thing that guy did. Me too, I did. I just went to HR.
Yours was just HR.
Yeah, I just went to HR. That, HR, yeah, I'm done. I know they do it again. You know, she told me that, honestly, that she feels bad that she put me there because she sensed that there will be a gap in the culture fit. We have remained friends till today. After she collected my letter, I found out that she had dropped her own letter.
So I was about to say something that my own red flag, you know, in terms of toxic culture. So almost like yours, at some point I accepted an offer. And I accepted the offer. When I accepted the offer, one or two people said, I don't know, I was in conversation with one or two people, and they're like, Ide, you're going here. You're going here. And that's how I now went back, started praying that, me, I should have prayed there. I went back, started praying that, should I go? Because nobody was driving me away from where my current job, I was doing well, everything was okay, but it was just shiny object. Shiny object. So, let me tell you how I said, I'm not going there again. The HR lady that was recruiting me, when I went back to say, I'm not sure again, she too should have resigned. I said, God, I've been calling me that, come, very good opportunities here, blah, blah, blah. Went in the ground for me. She had resigned. That's not, because I was still not sure if I was brave enough to say, I know I've signed, and I said, but I'm not coming. But once I found out that
You are relaxed.
shut down.
But let's talk about things that can help people. What are the signs, and what do you do if you now find yourself there? But especially, what are the signs? Because so for me now, there was no sign until somebody sent me a message.
So, your own experience is a little different from mine. Mine, I've been lucky. I've not necessarily experienced all this whole verbal assault, or I've never. But excuse me, I have been in environments where I'm like, I won't call it toxic, but I was depressed from day one.
Okay.
Entering there, and I was like miserable every second.
Like that place we met.
Yes. You mean no. That was still okay.
It was okay.
That one was still okay. I was in another of my organization. I was miserable from day one. So for me, I was working because again, everything you do, you are building a brand.
Yes.
You are building a personal brand. Whether you like the place, whether you like the people, you make sure that every experience, at least to the best of your knowledge or the best of your ability, you are putting your best foot forward. So I did my own, my regular work. They liked me,
okay,
but I was miserable. While doing that, I was applying everywhere, taking interviews everywhere for months. But I put, because you don't want to reflect what you are receiving. Sometimes, I've said this before. I think Shakespeare says all life's a stage.
I'm only Shakespeare.
All life's a stage. And I've said this before, I'm going to repeat it. I love the Japanese.
Okay.
There's a saying that a man is, whatever room he is in. So when you're in the office, whether you are hating it or not, you're an actor.
Yeah.
You package yourself, do whatever, because you don't know who is watching. And one of the first things one of my first bosses ever told me is that the walls have ears, everyone is watching. So if you're an asshole in a place, you will meet somebody down the line that when they're not there, you'll say that he's a nonsense person.
Yeah.
So for me, in those environments where I was not happy, they were toxic, or even in scenarios where I'm dealing with toxic people, because that one I've had them.
We'll get into that.
You understand? But with them, Mama, before I meet with them, I'm like, I need this person to get my stuff over the line. I need to deal with that. I psych myself. I smile. Then when it's time to you're pretending, but it is what it is.
And so what's the question now?
You want to
So this
change yourself.
this toxic thing now. What are the causes in different organizations? We've defined it, but there's toxic people. Yeah, let's drill down. Toxic people now, you can have a very good organization that they'll just be in one department, there'll be two highly toxic people. For the team members, it's a toxic environment. Doesn't mean the larger organization is toxic. That's one. Two, Nigerian companies are Nigerian companies. People are used to Nigerian companies. But if you've worked in an international organization where the rules are the rules, there's a rule against this, bullying, this, blah, blah. If you work in a Nigerian organization that everybody considers as a nice place, it will feel toxic. Because they are used to the organ saying, get out of here.
I have no point of
But in Nigeria, in an international organization, nobody can say like that.
Well, depends. It depends on the culture of the environment.
Yeah.
Even some international environment, they Nigerianize it.
Yes.
So I've seen that happen. But from what I've heard about your regular Nigerian company, it's very different.
So can one toxic person make a company toxic?
If
it's a senior person,
mm-hmm. Yes. If that toxic person gets away with things,
mm-hmm.
maybe they know somebody up there, or maybe they deliver, but they're toxic.
Should you be able to sack a toxic high performer?
That's a tough.
Yes, there's no toxic tough.
Let me tell you why it's not tough.
Why is it tough?
Let me tell you why.
Yes, accept my yes first.
I was about to accept.
Okay.
Let me learn now.
Sorry.
If I'm not saying yes. So what I was actually going to say is yes, because for me, attitude comes before skill or whatever. Or if you are the rainmaker and you've not necessarily broken any company policies,
mm-hmm.
It will be difficult because again, how do you measure toxicity? That's where I was going. How do you measure it? Because someone might be doing things to you, they're actually gaslighting you. So from you, the recipient of that, you're being gaslit, right?
Yeah.
And the person is toxic to you. But to every other person, that person is an angel.
Yeah, how do you if it's not that if it's a person that how generally draining like you said, he hasn't broken any company policy, but it's draining everybody's energy. There are people like that.
How do you prove it? How do you measure it?
If all the team members go above you to start telling your own boss that this guy is just okay, you know one of my recent examples now with that woman, you know what they call bully in a China shop? Somebody that just was my guy, but just resumed. He not ask how far, or I just started making assumptions and just scattering everything. It was two of us that were the most senior in the team. All the junior people kept buzzing us, not knowing that we two were going through our own with her. But you have to comfort them. They just know that they're exhausted. They're exhausted. And you're like, okay, how do we manage this thing? We have to take it up now.
So what a lot of companies have, they have those anonymous lines.
I like to do the anonymous, but that's topic for another day. That's not anonymous, I don't do that to you. I don't ever try it, to be honest. Anonymous.
I'm with you, but one or two companies, I believe they're anonymous.
Okay.
Depending on the structure of the company and the type of company. But for your Nigerian company, I don't know if they are anonymous. But again, I'm going to say it again. Some companies have the anonymous lines where you can.
Okay.
And I have seen them work. Where they call the person to order, they have that whole HR disciplinary thing, and something happens. Now the effect of that potentially is that the person who is the toxic person might now come back and change for the better. They are not, or now they come back and become worse. But depending on the nature of the organization, like I said earlier, you can have an organization that says one thing and does another thing.
Yeah.
If it's that kind of organization that says, oh, we're all about,
those ones are just liars.
They're liars. Then you are dead.
Okay.
In that scenario,
Because you can't based on what they say they do.
yes. In that scenario, that person knows that nothing is going to happen. Yes, they've gone through the whole process of checking the box. Oh, we went through this scenario action. We've won them. That person will deal with you more. Especially if, like you said, it's not anonymous and they know the people that's reported, then you become a victim.
Okay. So what is the cure for this thing? Is there a cure for it, or it just ends up with you living life?
I don't want to sound like I get fickle. As you said that, what came out from was from something from my school where they call it a wicked problem. A wicked problem is a problem that really doesn't have a real solution. There's no right or wrong. It can only be better or
How?
it was.
If you're in a toxic work environment, it's either you can take it or you can't take it. Or you are taking it for reasons like economy, or you have a family, and you know it's toxic, and if you can't take it, you can't take it.
So okay, so
what is the cure?
I will say
Cure is that you leave the place.
but that is for you, but doesn't change the nature of the organization.
Oh yeah, so I cure is for you.
I have one of my past organizations. More recently, I was just going on LinkedIn. I was like, you're still here. People are known for a lot.
Yeah.
You're still here. I mean, I felt like I can't survive in this place, but people have been there, and I can say they are thriving. So to me, it was a toxic environment. To some people,
it was just work.
It was work. So that's why we're going back to the point is toxicity might mean something to one person and another thing to another.
True. But basically, there are just some organizations that, there's this, how will I put it this? There's this notion that civil servants are lazy, they don't do anything, you have to do this to move one file. So the person that works in private sector, that's toxic now.
Yes.
So things are just
I remember one minister years ago, almost on TV, was almost crying
because of this kind of challenges. That's toxic now.
So the question is, how do you get? There's no one solution to it.
Okay.
You, as individuals, you have a decision to make. It's either you learn to thrive in that environment and walk around that environment. That's
should you wait for should there be a last straw that will make you say, nah, I'm done, I'm going? Should you wait until that happens, or you should just enter maybe until they slap your face, or they say, you're a bastard?
There's always a red line that
everybody has.
Yeah, but each person has to define what that red line is.
I think some people, they will define it when they look at their finances, they will bring the line back again.
but that's maturity at the end of the day.
No, it's lack of options.
It's maturity. So lack of options is even with lack of options, there are some people that will say, like you didn't have a job when you did that place and you resigned.
But somebody else did it, and 2 weeks later, when his eye clear, started sending messages, hey, Baba.
Exactly. So
everybody don't take it at the point where he was resigning.
So maybe the word I use, maturity, is not the right word. But each person has their own circumstances. You might have
and what they can take.
You might have some savings and you say, I'm resigning, I don't care. You might not have some savings, but you don't care. You are still going to resign. Some people might say, I don't have savings. I can't afford to resign.
Even those people, there is a level of insult they can't take. Like you now, if you can take and somebody just tells you, Ide, I don't like your punk, you resign. I know you. Just say, how dare you abuse my punk? For you, that's the line. I can't take that.
I don't know.
But for someone else,
I really have to laugh.
Sorry to say this about my people, but Yoruba actually have a saying that says "Ebu Osomoyan." Do you know what that means? It means abuse and assault. It doesn't kill. It doesn't stick to your face. It doesn't stick to your body. So if you enter the room with your MD now and he abused you for 5 hours, when you come out, unless you say it, nobody will know. That's a bad thing.
That is true. But now again, just like there's a positive to that and there's a negative to that.
Positive, please.
A positive to that is, we both have the same name. Sticks and stones.
They break my bones.
But
yeah,
it's the same thing basically. So the abuse can come in 1 year and go. It really doesn't affect you. And to be honest, as an individual, I more or less live by that rule.
But you know, if they are
You
getting regular, it also means that they can sack you any day. Do you want to wait till that happens?
So again, define your own red line.
Well, true.
Define your own red.
So that's the cure. So you know, I was asking, what's the cure? Define your own red.
It can't be the only cure.
It's the only cure now, because we're looking at it from an individual lens. I don't care about the organization.
Oh, so they're looking at it from
an individual lens. So try to help.
So if it's you know, we like to build organizations and transform organizations. So if it's strictly from
an individual lens,
in life you define what it is take.
Yeah.
Define what is good for you.
And in doing that, be very aware of your circumstances. So try to, I'm not saying endure it, but
you have to be pragmatic.
Your circumstances.
You have to be pragmatic.
If you have 5 children and you don't have any job that you are going
or
to,
don't have savings,
I'm not sure you can afford pride or ego. You understand?
You understand?
Wait till, okay, there's an option I can, even if you are going for a pay cut, but wait till you have something. If you have a family to look after,
even if you don't have a family, if there's nothing, and you know that you'll be living under the bridge, you have to think twice before you do it.
But when I left that place, I didn't have Zoom too.
You always have something to fall back on.
You call your mommy.
You go back to home and to the house and you there's no how.
I was young, yes. I was even young.
You had something to fall back to. That's why I did that.
Okay, so I guess that's it for today's episode.
I'm sure we'll have to touch on this.
We might touch on this later.
There's so much to talk about.
Yeah. So bye guys and enjoy the week.
Cheers.